early, about 8 minutes early to let people start coming in. Tonight, we're going to be on a little while because we have a lot to discuss. We're going to talk about relationships. You guys asked about numerology and mediumship last week, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Some of you may even get some numerology readings. Can't guarantee you're going to get mediumship readings, but I will do some. We probably will cover some numerology as well. I do have the cards here as well, but I'm going to let a few people sign into the room. We're going to have our conversations first. That is definitely going to be first. Okay, that's where I had to go. And then full scene. I'm learning. Hi. Hey, Mark. My buddy, how you doing? Jessica, hi. Jamie, hey. I just signed in a little early, getting people, and we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight. So get your questions ready because we're going to talk relationships, numerology, and some mediumships. We're going to have a blend of a few different things because y'all told me that's what y'all wanted to talk about online and learn a little bit about. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Give you what you want. So while I get, I just want to give people time to get logged in. So go grab something to drink. Go use the bathroom. All those wonderful things because tonight should be a really good discussion. And I'm definitely excited to be here with everybody. Yeah, we're going to talk about relationships. Call your buddy up. tell him to go, why is that happening? Are y'all seeing it fade, like get darker and then brighter? That's wild. I don't know what's causing it. It's only happening on the TV, not on the lights. That's weird. I don't know if y'all can see that like I am. Yeah, Joe. Yeah. You may want to text him. It's 6 p.m. Gonna be 6 p.m. his time. Oh, Jojo. So as we get a little bit, like 2 minutes like a minute before it starts, I'm gonna load us up on TikTok because once again, TikTok's not working on my screen. Hi, Lynn. So tonight we're gonna have some great conversations. I'm just signed in a little bit earlier to let people get logged in, and so we can have a good group. We're going to do some numerology tonight. We're going to talk about mediumship. The biggest thing we're talking about is relationships and finding the right one for you, and are you in the right one, and all those things, and how did you choose your mate, and all those kind of fun topics. So I can't get started to 8. It's 4 minutes too, so take your time. Go ahead, go grab something to drink. Use the bathroom because we're going to be talking a lot, and I need you guys to interact because the more you interact, the more you're going to get. And about 2 minutes in, a little past 2 minutes in, I'm going to load up TikTok live as well. And so we're going to be on 3 different channels. We'll be on TikTok, we'll be on Facebook, and we're going to be on YouTube. So it's going to be a lot of, hopefully a lot of people tonight because we got lots to talk about. Lots of things to talk about. And I'm playing with all of my buttons down here that Magni has for me. And okay, there's the cruise. The intro for 2, intro for 1, all the cruise information. Okay, I think I've got it now. And then we have this one here, which is the little side one. Okay, privacy. All right, everything is on and going, and we're almost there to 2 minutes in. Well, then we'll be adding the TikTok room to us to let people join us there. The TikTok world is picking up since we downloaded the commercials for the cruise, and a lot of people have been liking it. When you're on TikTok, folks, please definitely like, share, like and share, place a comment and share. Those are important. That helps move it. We're trying to get, trying to reach as many people as we can with the cruise. We've already got a nice group, but the more the merrier, the more fun we will have on the Sense Healing Cruise in April. So always, if you see something, please, I would appreciate if you, just type just type hi or something in the comments, leave a short comment and share and like and share. And so that helps get it some momentum so we can so those of us that are going will have a blast. Well, thank you, Jamie. You're going to give me my likes. I love you so much. You take care of me. Hey, Claire. Oh, okay, we're getting close. I got to log into TikTok and TikTok. Here's what happened. Here, we're going to go live. Hey, TikTok, I'm going to stay on for just a second. About 1 minute, I'm going to load up our opening view and get started with tonight's lecture and tonight's fun. And we're going to talk and tonight's education. So I'm going to let a few people get logged in, and right at 8 o'clock, I will intro the podcast and we'll get rolling. We got plenty of people on Facebook, so we will get started immediately tonight. Those of you that can join us on TikTok, that's great. It is time. So let's see. Well, I got to do the double because the single wasn't working. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Touching Eternity, the podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Come join us today as we have some fun. All right. That number one intro wasn't there. I wonder why. That's a Magni thing. Okay, so I'm going to have to see. There it is. How'd that happen? Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Touching Eternity, the podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. So, folks, let's get started because tonight we have a full room here on Facebook, and I'm going to try to get some people in on TikTok because tonight we're going to have a lot of interesting conversations. So tonight, last week, let's start with last week. Last week, many of you had asked me, I asked about what did y'all want to learn about, some people said a lot of people said numerology, a lot of people said mediumship, some people said everything, including tarot. Again, if you want to learn tarot, if you go to my YouTube channel, just type in Touch Eternity, you'll see all the podcasts there. There's a whole section that's free about tarot. And it's tarot, the whole story. And it just talks about each card, what it means, its colors, its numerology, its symbols. It talks about a lot of stuff. There's your basics for tarot. Coming soon, probably right after the first of the year sometime, I'll be teaching a masterclass in tarot. So know that that's coming up. I also wanted to voice to you guys some other things that we have coming up. On December, you're going to be seeing this posted soon. On December 13th, hi, look at Jamie giving me some love on TikTok. On December 13th, we're going to have the first bungalow reading day, and it's all in Sid's bungalow, and I have 3 wonderful readers that will be coming here to my home. We will post them up with their how to book an appointment with them, how you can block time with them. And I will be here, but I won't be reading. I'll be here organizing everything, but I'll have Miss Lydia here. I don't know if y'all remember Miss Lydia from when we had my shop. She's a phenomenal reader. We're going to have Lisa. She was also a phenomenal reader from my shop. She's coming to join us. And I'm going to have Misty Gaither will be at my home from 11 to 5 for bungalow readings with Sid and company. So join us. I think the cost is going to be $50 for 30 minutes, and you can pick whichever one of the readers you want to go see. You can pre-book, so you will be allowed to pre-book before you come. If you pre-book, though, you have to prepay. That's the only thing. But other than that, it's going to be a first come, first served basis. This is the first time we're doing this. I'm kind of excited because then y'all get to see the wonderful bungalow that we created here. And so you'll get to see that and be a part of the first reading day at the bungalow. So I have 3 readers coming to visit and hang out with me for the day, and they'll be here available to do readings for you. If you want to book one, come and join us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. That is going to be Saturday, December the 13th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there'll be 30-minute readings, and they'll be taking little breaks. Like every so many they do, they're going to take a 15-minute break. So there'll be some breaks for everybody. But come on in and join us and have some fun and come see the bungalow. the bungalow. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? And Bianca. Okay, so talked about that. That's going to be December 13th. That will be coming out live on Facebook, and how to book appointments with Miss Lydia, Lisa, or Misty through me. They all have to come through me. And so the only way you get an appointment is to come through me, or just show up that day, and if there's an opening, they'll read for you. But if you want to pre-book a time, you can. So we are going to do that. But if you pre-book, you have to pay with a credit card in advance. So, with saying all that, let's see where we're going to begin. Let's talk about numerology first, because I promised you guys last week, when talking to you about numerology and numbers, that there are 2 books, if you're going to come take my class, that you need. And these are not books for you to read. These are, well, you will read them eventually, but they're reference books. And they're just books that cover different aspects of the chart itself and give you a lot of meanings and philosophy behind those numbers and things. And the first book is called Numerology, The Romance in Your Name by Juno Jordan. You can get these are old books. They don't cost too much. You can get these on Amazon. And so I recommend you should get this one, because if you're going to be successful in your numerology, you got to have resources. And then the other book that I recommend is The Complete Book of Numerology, Discovering the Inner Self by David A. Phillips, PhD. And this is that book. So again, if you're going to take my course, you will need these, because these are going to help you create the numerology chart. And y'all know, some of you have seen the chart, it's a very big chart, like that big by that big, and it's solid numbers and letters. And all the meanings to what those things means are in these books. So I can give you basic meanings of the numbers and basic things, and we can go over some stuff. But in order for you to move further with it, it's very, very good to have those books. Yes, you reference your results. Yes, because you've taken the class, so you have them. So yes, these are very good books. These are they're old, they're the basics. You can get them on Amazon. They shouldn't be too expensive. I think under even $20 for both of them, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, don't hold me to that. But they're not good. Hey, Susan, how you doing, love? So anyway, some of you there, like Taylor and Susan, all have taken the numerology course already. So they know, they can tell you that these books are your lifesavers in numerology. This is where all your meanings are. Those are your reference books for the class. So let's talk a little bit about numerology. I'm going to give you the basics here online, because the more detailed stuff is when you start creating the chart and doing those things. And eBay for even cheaper books. That's right, Susan. So with numerology, you have a few things. You have your birth date, which gives you your life path number. Your birth date can also give you your personal year and your universal year pretty easily. Okay. So you have your birth date, you have your life path number. Then you have your name, and in your name, when you write out your name, it has to be your name given to you at birth, not your married name, not whatever. Some people ask, well, I was adopted, I don't know what my whatever you have on your birth certificate that you have, or whatever your legal name was when you were at the youngest you can remember, that's the name you should be using. Okay? What your name says about you. When you do your vowels, it talks about what is your like heart's desire, like what are the kind of things you fall in love with. What are you drawn to with love? What are your heart's desires? Those are the vowels in your name, and the consonants in and it's your full name, and the consonants in your name, okay, are the consonants are your personality, and well, basically it's just how people see you. It's not necessarily who you are; it's how people perceive you. And then when you add those two numbers together and get another number, that number talks about, and this is just in your name, that number talks about where you're going to be after age 55, like towards the end, where you're going towards. Okay, so do y'all just see that fade and go dark and go light? Somebody type yes or no for that, because my screen's acting up. I have the magnet feel like it just gets dark and then it gets light, and I don't understand why that's happening. But anyway, it doesn't go completely, it just fades. But anyway, so that's what those numbers do. And then whatever numbers thank you, Debbie, whatever numbers you don't use in that birth date, those are your karmas. And then the number of the numbers that are repetitive also add up and make things too. If you have no numbers that come out, those numbers or letters are your karmas. And so that's how you find out what are your karmas in your life. What do you have to watch for? What do you tend to be drawn to? So that tells you your karmas. Then and then you have you have a tic-tac-toe board where you graph your birthday on it, your complete birthday, and then it draws what they call the arrows of individuality. And it also bulks in, tells you, like, if you have so many numbers in one set of numbers, it'll tell you little personality traits about you. And then you have to take your name and write it out on all the way, because each letter of your name, first, middle, and last, or first and last if you don't have a middle, if you have two middles, you add all that up. One letter for each year, and then it just keeps going until you get, I usually do 5 years past the current year, so you can get a little bit of forecasting done by the end of your chart. And then those letters all mean stuff. So numerology, the chart itself, it has a lot of different meaning. Now the basic numbers, hey Tina, we talking about numerology, sweetheart. The basic numbers in numerology, like one is about new beginnings. Ones can be procrastinators, but ones are, it's because they can be a little bit of perfectionists. Ones like new things. Ones are good with creating, or very inventive. They can be. Now, these are the positive traits. There are negative traits, which is the opposite of what I'm telling you. So those are your ones. Twos are rhythm and timing. Twos are about pairing, coupling. Twos don't like to be in front. They like to work behind the scenes the most. Now, you do have some astrology things that could push that. If you got a two that's a Leo, that's going to be a tough Leo. But anyway, twos are about rhythm and timing. They normally don't like to argue and fight, or extreme the other way, and they like to work in the background a lot. Now, I don't know if it's the TV or if it is the light above me. It's not the ring, and it's either the one above me that I'm not seeing, or something's going on with the TV. I don't know. But anyway, sorry about that. I just noticed everything fading out. So anyway, twos, like I said, are rhythm and timing, coupling, duality, those types of things. Threes are about creativity. They're about entertainment. They're about being social. They're about being free, or just a time to breathe. Because right after 3 comes number 4, and 4 is hard. 4 is works hard. 4s are your truth people. They got to have truth and facts. 4, I'm a 4, so I understand that. They're about truth and fact and justice and being fair, and 4s are all about security. So know that too. 5s are your 5s love. They love to challenge. They love challenge. They love innovation. They don't like to sit still. Fives get very bored at a desk job. They like to be out in the field working, getting up, talking. And if you get a 5 who is like stuck at a desk job, that's that one in the office that's always getting up and walking around and talking because they can't stay seated, or they don't like being blocked in. 5s like freedom. They like to be walking around. They like to get out and talk to people. They like to do things. Okay? 6s is your family. It's about relationships. It's about compassion. It's about family situations. It's that mother energy, that father energy. 7 is the first spiritual number. 7 is about 7s are very spiritual. They have their own idea about conventional religion and about spirituality. They have their own thought pattern with that. 7s are people where they love their alone time. Sometimes a negative 7 can be depressed, so you got to watch 7s for depression. 7s can also be 7s also, like I said, they love their alone time, so you never want to fight with a 7 because they'll want to walk away and you're going to want to fight, and if you don't let them walk away, they will leave you and not come back. So I know that about a 7. You got to give 7 their space. 8s, power, money, and control. That's 8, both positive and negative. And 9s are humanitarians. It's also the number of drama because everybody brings their drama to a 9. And those are your basic 1 through 9s. And then you have what they call, 7 was the first spiritual number. The second spiritual number is 11. That's called an 11-2. And those are people who are 2s, but also have the gift of sight. They have the gift of knowing, the gift of understanding. They understand things. They're very open cognitively. Okay, or they can be very psychic because they just know things. They're very good with working with those senses. The next spiritual number is what I am, is a 22-4, which means when we see it, we can create it and build it. We're very good at building what we see, or if we see it, we can put our mind to it and make it happen. Okay, so that's a 22-4. 33-6 is the next spiritual number, and that's your healers. Though these people have natural healing voices, healing touches, healing hands. Doesn't mean they're necessarily in the healing business, but they naturally can calm people down or make people relax, or sometimes they are in the healing business. Those are your 33-6s. And then you have what they call 44-8s. There's not many of those. You have to be born in either November or December. You have to be born somewhere in the like the 22 where you can't change it. There is no 33. So those are very limited. But if you get a real 44-8, those people live by karma. That's the God complex. And those people live through karmatic ties. Meaning if they live right, good happens to them. But the minute they do anything wrong, they will pay threefold and their life can turn upside down in a second. So those are your basic numerology numbers. All your letters of your name have a number. So that's another thing. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, all the way up to 9, and they start all over. If you can remember all your 1s, which is A's, J's, and S's, you can count them on your fingers pretty easily. So if you want to know what a D, let's say what an E is, you use A and you go A, B, C, D, E is 5. Okay, so that's easy. It's past J. J is a 1. So those are where your 9 marks are, and your numbers is A, J, and S. They're all 1s. And so if you're ever trying to do, you can count them on your fingers. You don't have, they have graphs, but if you want to count them on your fingers, that makes it easy. Another thing I can share with you that is, hey Zeta, that is basic numerology, is that if you have a birthday and you scratch out everything that totals a 9, whatever number is left down to one number is your life path number. And let's use Tina's birthday, 12/10/1961, because y'all can see it up on the board. I don't think y'all can. Some of y'all can. So if you write down 12/10/1964, and I scratch out the 9 in 1964. I scratch out the 1, 2, and 6. That equals 9. And then I got a 4, a 1, and a 1. So that left over. So that tells me that Tina is a 6. And that was without me just adding everything up. But I know Tina's a 6 just by doing that. I was able to scratch out everything that totaled 9 in single digits, including the 9. And all she had left was a 4 and 2 1s. So that means she's a 6 in numerology. John Edwards, I was at an event in Baton Rouge with John Edwards, and he was trying to teach that to people without a board, and it was quite interesting to watch him, because people, they just didn't get it, so he had to get into reading. So that was really interesting. Hey Gina, hey love, she's in Cindy. So I got a few people there on Facebook. So that's a little bit about numerology. That's pretty much just the basic numerology. Like I said, I do have a chart. When Magni's home, because he has to be here, he'll set the camera up and I'll put the sheet down and I will show you how to fill one out. But that's the basic number. So you have the pyramid, which shows your positive aspects and your challenges in life. And then you have your tic-tac-toe board, which is your arrows of individuality. And you put your complete birth date on there, one digit at a time, wherever it goes, whatever's empty or completely full tic-tac-toe, you have an arrow there. And so that's called the arrows of individuality. Then you have your name that goes across, your birth name. You know, and if you didn't know your birth name, it's what your legal name was when you were at your youngest before marriage. And it's the whole name, so it's your whole name. When you fill that out, all your vowels go on the top, all your consonants go on the bottom, the numbers, and then you add up each section, then it totals a number. Your vowels are your heart's desire, or what you love in life. Your bottom numbers is how people perceive you, and together is what you're walking into after age 55, how people will see you after age 55. And so that is what your name does for you. And then there's a breakdown of every year, which has your personal year, your universal year, then what the letters equal, and that will tell you lots of stuff that is going to happen to you in those years, or what those years will be like for you in numerology. And like I said, this is just me giving you the basics. Again, these are the books you need. The Complete Book of Numerology by David A. Phillips, PhD. You can get it on eBay or on Amazon. eBay will probably be cheaper. And the other one is Numerology, The Romance in Your Name. This is by Juno Jordan. Here it is. I'm going to show it again. Those are the two books for numerology that I recommend. These are reference books. These are books you will eventually read them, because you're going to be referencing, but you don't read them, and then you use them as a reference. Each in these books, each section will show you how to fill out a piece of the chart and break down what all the meanings are by numbers. So it really helps you. Okay, that's basic numerology, folks, in a nutshell. Okay, like I said, in the class we do a lot more. So, you know, we do a lot more. Oh, Tina, you in 1964, not 61? Well, then you're not a 6, darling. Then let's do you 19. No, oh wait, I know I did 64. That was right. It was a 4, 1, and a 1. No, you're a 6. You're a 6, love. You are a 6. It's 1960. You're born in 61? You keep saying, I was born in 61, then I mean 64. Now it's 1961 again. All right, let's do 61. 12, 10. I'm older than you, Tina. 1961. You're messing with my mind, girl, but I love you. So we're going to scratch out the 9. We'll scratch out the 6 and 3 1s. And that leaves me with a 1 and a 2. So basically, you're not a 6, you're a 3, Tina. You're a 3. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now, I don't know if you're a 33-6. I don't know if you're a 33-6. Let me see, though. So I'll try it that way. 1, 10's 10, and 7 is 17, so that's an 8. Nope, you're just a regular 3. So Joshua, you are 4, 26, 1990. So real quick, I'll give you a quick number. Is 1, 2, 6. You're a 4 definitely, because after you cross out all the nines, Joshua, you are 4. But let's see if you're a 22-4. So you are 4, 8, 18, 19, which is a 1. No, you are just plain 4. You're not a 22-4. I wanted to just make sure you wasn't one of the spiritual numbers, because 4 is one of those, can be one of those spiritual numbers. I'm a 22-4, so I know that. And I will show you how you get that. So if you look up my birth date, 7/25/1961, I am 7 and 7, because 7 is the month, 25th is a 7, and then the year is 1961, which is 10 plus 7 is 17, which is an 8. So when you add those across, 14 plus 8 is 22. So I'm a 22-4. So that's how you find out if you're a spiritual number. Okay. So you are a, Jessica, just looking at you, you see, take out that, take out, you're a 1, Jessica. You're a 1. I can look at your birthday and tell you, because if you cross out the 9, you cross out the 8 and 1, and you cross out the 7 and 2, you only have a 1 left. So you're a 1 in numerology. So being a 1, that's, you're not going to have a spiritual number. The spiritual numbers are going to be 2s, 4s, 6, and 8. So you're a 1. So that's ones are, like I tell you, about new beginnings. They're about people who are ones can sometimes procrastinate because they can be perfectionists, or they're the opposite. It's like you have negative sides of this. So whatever I'm telling you in the positive, if you say, well, that's definitely not me, I'm the opposite. Well, yeah, that's you, but you're just the negative side of it. So ones are new beginnings. Ones are creative people. Ones are good project managers. Ones are, because you can look at jobs and things they would be really good at. So just know that. And again, get these books. These are your references. Get the books, and it'll really help you. So Belinda, you are, you look like an 8, because you wrote January, so give me a number. But so January, so let me see. If I cross out the 2 9s and the 8 and 1, that leaves a 5, a 2, and a 1. So that's an 8. You're an 8. That's power and money. You wonder if you're an 11. Well, let me see what you are first here. So 8 and 1, that leaves you a 5, 6. That does leave 11 left, but 11 is a 2, unless I do it let me do you the other way. 10, 6, 1958. I have to do it the long way, so that's 1 and 6. And that's 10 and 13 is 23. What? 1958, you said, right? So 10, 15, and 8 is 23. That's a 5. So you're a 12. So I must have missed a number in there somewhere because you wrote it out. But you're a 3 numerologically. I'm sorry, you're a 3 in numerology. I had to miss a number in there somewhere. Let me see. 9, 8, 1, at least 5. Oh, I missed that one. No, I did 8 and 1, 5 and 6 is 11, 12. No, 12. Yep, you're a 3. That's right. Because you have the 5, the 6, and a 1. So that is a 12. So you're a 3 in numerology. Now, I'm sorry, Deb. Let's see, Mark. I believe 1. So Mark, you can't get rid of the 11, so you got a 22 plus, you better hope it's not another 22 or you're in trouble. You better hope that doesn't equal 22, Mark, and no, it equals 24, because that's 10 and 14 is 24. Lucky, because you'd have been at 44.8, I'd have had to warn you. So you are a 1 because your 4 and 6 is 10. You're just a plain 1, Mark. Well, let me add you out regularly because you got, but you're a 1. You can't be an 11. A 2 is an 11. So no, you're a 1. It's on my, like, is it? That would books, yes, and they're real reasonable. Like I think one of the books is like $3 or $4 because it's old. Like these are old books. They've been around a while. If you can get them. Both of them for under $10, I'll give you go to eBay because they're really, really, really inexpensive. And let me look over here. Do I have anybody over here? So giving me 420, Mimi, that just tells me that right now you're in a 6-9 year, which is endings in family and people that you are heartfelt to. So, but next year you're going to be in a 5-1. It's a bunch of new beginnings and change. Let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to go back through TikTok. Guys, I'm sorry that my TikTok doesn't work on my big computer. For some reason, TikTok kicks it out. It wants you to use their stuff. So I'm kind of just looking to see what I have. Okay, so Cindy's showing me she's 6/10/1960. So let's see, Cindy. Let me give you a number really quick. So scratch out the 9s. Ooh, that's all I can scratch out is the 9, because everything else, you got 6 and 1, and 1 is 8. 8 and 6 is 14. So you're a 5 in numerology. Cindy, you're a 5. That's constant movement, constant change. You don't like being stuck behind a desk. You like to move around. You're very good at change. Most people who are 5s, they're very good with change or very bad with change. But if you're a positive 5, you're really, really, really good with change. And Charmaine, you took the class. You should know you, darling. I thought you took the class. 5/21. Let me see here. 5/21, 1967. So 5, 3, 10, and 13 is 23 is 5. So that's 13. You're a 4, Charmaine. You're like me. But you're a regular 4, which just means hard work, justice, security. That's what we look for in life. You didn't take the class. I thought you did take the class. Hey, Celeste, how you doing, my love? I miss you. I hope life's treating you well. Bianca, 2/18/1981. Let's see. 2/18/1981, right? 81. Let me scratch out some 9s for you. 9 and 9. You're a 3. And I'll do it the long way. See if you're 33/6. 2/18/9, and then 10, and 9 is 19. No, you're not. So you're a 3, just a regular 3. So that means you're very social, Bianca. People get along with you. You're also very creative. 3s are very, very creative. A lot of 3s are mediums, movie stars, psychics, because their mind, they live in their right brain a lot. So that's a real good thing about 3s too that I didn't share earlier. And Veronica is 1/14/1981. 1, 5. 10 and 9 is 19, which is 1. So you're a 7. So Veronica, you're a 7. Means you're spiritually, you have your own way of what you believe is right for you, which is fine. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll send some love and healing. He's not in the ICU by me, is he? Just say yes and no. You know where I work, right? Anyway, because if it is, I'll go see him and pray for him, over him. So anyway, well, I was doing okay. So yes, so you were 3. So also with 3s means you're very creative. You definitely are social. Like I said, a lot of psychics have that mind. Paul, 10/18/1965. 10/18/1965. So 1, 9, 10, and 11 is 21. That's a 3. So you're a 13. Oh, Paul, you're like me. You're that 4. You need security. You like security. Everything is about truth. You want to know the truth behind things. You do not like people who lie. That's very, very common for 4s. And I'm doing these fast, so forgive me if I'm getting older. So I'm trying to make sure I get y'all all right. Zeta, 12/31, 1967. So she's 3, 4. 10 and 13 is 23 is a 5. Zeta, you're a 3 too. And you are social, Zeta. You are very right-brained. A lot of your 3s are very, very right-brained. He's at Children's. Well, he's in one of our hospitals, but he's not one that I have access to. But I will still send some love and some prayer to him. If you send me a private message on Facebook, like on Messenger, just give me his name and I'll put him in a prayer, and I'll send it to Zeta as well. She's the healer. We'll do some long-distance healing for him and do some prayers for him. Okay, I did that one already. Okay, here I got a new one. I got Jamie is 10/2/1986. So 1, 2, and then those two are easy. And 24 is a 6. Ooh, Jamie, you a 9. That's why you got to handle everything. You're a 9. So basically, because 10 is 24, that's a 6. So yeah, you're a 9. So that means drama finds you, Jamie. You can be good as your drama's gonna find, but also you're the humanitarian. You're the one that likes to keep things together. You're the one that likes to take care of everything. You're like you encompass all of it, but people bring their drama. You definitely have to set boundaries with people. And I think your husband will agree with that. You are a 9. But because you're a 9, your biggest challenge in life is your spirituality and being alone. Because your anti-number, because you're a 9, is a 7, because your day of your birth is a 2. And when you're a 9, that's another little thing when you get into the class you got to learn, is that to find your anti-number, you take your number and subtract it from 9, gives you your anti-number. But if you're 9, you use your birthday. And your birthday is a 2, so your anti-number is a 7. So I thought I would share that with you. So it's a little bit more than I just shared with you, that's something you would learn in class. So let's don't try not to be sad. Try to think positive, send positive love, positive vibes your son's way, and say some prayers. And when I say prayers, people, it's not. Let's talk about that, because that can lead us into some mediumship. So when I say send prayers, I don't mean just typical. Some people do typical Christian prayers, but I recommend, when doing prayer work, start thinking of happy moments in your life and feeling that happy energy, and say, I want that person to feel this happiness. I want this person to feel this positive energy. That is some of the best stuff you can send somebody. Hazita, it's my healer. She'll chime in. But people, you say prayers, and prayers are good, but if you could think of a really good happy moment in your life, or a memory that you had with your son or with someone, and send that happy memory to them, that send, so they can feel that love rather than pity or rather than pain, that's going to help them heal better. So I always tell people, think of a very happy moment that you had, and create that energy and send that to somebody who needs it. Send that. That is a key. I always tell people, when you're looking for, Haley is her son's name. Right. You're confusing me, Zeta. Hey, Heather. Okay, so Haley is your son's name, correct, Celeste? Or is that your daughter? Or is... Explain. I'm getting confused now. I'm old. But anyway, so the best way to send prayer or love to someone is by thinking of a very fond, of the most beautiful moment you had with someone, and send that. Send that and let them feel that love. Let them feel that healing come through. Oh, thank you, Heather. Yes, I'm well. I hope you're well, love. I know you had been going through some stuff there for a while. Yes. Oh, okay. I got you. Haley's your daughter. Well, then we will send Haley, because up there you put son. So you can see people replied prayers for your son, but no. Oh, you didn't put that, somebody else did. It says, I miss you. Wait, no. Okay. Oh, no. I think somewhere you put, Anyway, I will send prayers to Haley. And I will think of the most blessed moment that I've had in my life, and I will send that to Haley, and so that Haley can feel that love and feel that. And when I have a lot of people who want to go look for a healer, and I tell people, every healer is not for every person, and every person is not for every healer. You have to find someone's energy that you match with in order for your healer to really be able to do great work with you. I mean, I basically have two main healers, and I have some other people that I do occasionally. If my two main ones aren't available, I will go to them. But I have two main, and that's because I have some kind of bond with these two energetically, and the love that they give during their sessions, I can actually feel it, and so I mainly go to those two. And and I don't go to somebody that I don't get a good vibe with, just because what good is that? So you have to, when you do healing work, you have to find somebody that you energetically connect with. I have a whole bunch of healer friends and I love them all, but there's only a couple of them that I really bond with. There's two that I bond the best with. So those are usually my two go-to, but then, if they're busy or not around, I have others that I still will let work on because they have loving energy. And so it's got to come from that. It has to, or it's not healing you, it's poisoning you. It's like the difference of getting, an antibiotic versus chemo. An antibiotic's going to help you feel better. Chemo is going to make you feel miserable and destroy everything. So it's kind of what it's like. So when you choose your healer, you got to find someone that you energetically match with. That you have a bond with, or that you have you have that connection. You feel that connection with that person. And that's what you do. Because like when I go to fairs, it's seldom like when I'll ever get a healing from someone at a fair, unless it's somebody I know. Because unless I really feel that connection, how are they going to send me the love that I need to heal? You know what I'm saying? So I tried to say that. Oh, well, thank you. Is it C. Hank? Or is it Chank? Whatever. But thank you. Trini's actually coming back in town the weekend of the 6th, I believe. We're talking about, we're going to probably I'm doing a show on the 6th. But that weekend of the 6th, we're going to be doing some events together. Plus, you'll be seeing clients here. And the bungalow. And the following week is going to be the bungalow readings with Miss Lydia and Lisa and Misty Gaither. So I will be posting that this weekend if some of you guys want to come out to the Sid's Bungalow and get a 30-minute reading. So anyway, let's get into a little bit about mediumship. So we talked a lot about numerology because y'all wanted to talk about numerology. And I showed y'all the two books, and I'm going to show them to you one more time. And you can go, if you didn't catch them, you can catch it on my YouTube channel because this will be recorded there. So you can catch it there. And but let's get to a little bit about mediumship, okay? So, because I wanted to learn a little bit about everything. So, a lot of people what I find teaching most students and working with students and mentoring them through their mediumistic journey, what I find is that majority of them want to copy someone. They not necessarily copy, but they like an example. I read a lot like Miss Caputo in the Long Island. I see like her. And the only way I know that is because I've heard her say how she sees, and I see the same way. I see in black and white. When I shut my eyes, everything is in black and white. I never understood to just recently why it was that way, but that's how I saw it. Some people see in full-fledged color. Some people see people's dead people just like they see them. I don't. I have different symbols, hence why I created my symbology deck, which I'm going to talk about that in a moment because I got people requesting it. But so I do see a little bit. I do see a somewhat like Teresa Caputo, but we're different. Every medium is different. You have to find your own gifts. As a teacher, I can help bring you to your gifts. I can help you find what makes you comfortable. I can find how you're beginning. I can help you start to create your language, but I can't tell you how to do it. You have to have that connection. And I can take you to the water, but I can't make you drink it. I can mentor you and show you how to use your emotions and your feelings and your smells and your taste to create your language so that they can start talking to you. And what I mean by start talking, first of all, spirits talk to y'all all the time. You just don't understand them. It's like sitting in a room with a bunch of people that speak a different language. You hear it or you see it, but you don't understand it. Well, once you create the language with them, then you start to understand what they're saying to you. You have to open up and create that language so that you can communicate. We all communicate different. You have to find, and how you find that, what you communicate is things will start happening slowly but surely, consistently. You'll start, every time you see something or hear something or smell something, something's going to happen. It's going to provoke a reaction. And you'll see it happen. It'll happen more than once. That is your sign for that. And so when you feel that or you sense that, that's when you grow. And that's why when you go teach or learn with a lot of people in England that work with the SNU, they have you sit in the power for hours and hours and hours, because they're getting you to try to connect to those senses and connect to your outer universe so you can create your language. Okay? That's what I did. If you go to England and take a mediumship course, and they're very good there, but you're going to spend 3 to 4 hours a day sitting in silence on hard chairs. A few of my students can tell you, because they've been there with me, you will sit in chairs for long periods of time. And you will, and you will sit in what they call the power. And that is so you can start creating and feeling and sensing and creating your language. If you have ADD like me, it's hard to sit and not think of anything else but being present. It's hard, but I'm able to go into trance. I'm able to do some really cool things with going into trance work. On the cruise, I will be teaching trance healing, which is a lot about going into that space, into that mindset, and sending the healing, allowing the love to come. We're going to do some exercises to help you build that love, build that memory so that you could send it out. Well, come on, I'll take you, so let's go to England. England's actually cheaper to travel to than America, if you want to know the truth. If you catch it right, it's definitely cheaper than America in many cases. So, hey, Kelly, kisses back at you, love. So everybody's born with mediumship, but what people don't realize is that you have to work and create that language. You have to start understanding what you're seeing. You have to understand and start creating and remembering, like, why they keep showing me this thing over and over, and why do I feel the same way every time I see this over and over. And as you develop, it will grow with you. An example, I used to see Minnie Pearl's hat from Hee Haw with the price tag when someone was a comedian or funny. When I first started mediumship, they used a lot of hats to talk to me about personality, about those things. They would use a lot of hats to talk to me, but over time and creating the language, that has changed. For somebody funny now, I actually can see him laughing now, because my vision has gotten to a point that I can see that. But again, and different things mean different. Like a real cool thing that I find cool. Like, I was reading somebody, I was doing a mediumship reading the other day, and all of a sudden I'm like, who's Alfred? And I'm like, that's not even a common name anymore, right? And it's like, oh, that's my cousin who passed away. And I'm like, wow. Well, how did you get Alfred? And I told him. I saw the old Alfred Hitchcock thing, and the body walked into it, so had to mean Alfred to me. So once you learn to work with it, once you learn to work, and once they learn you and you learn them, the language gets clearer, and it gets clearer. For some people, some people are so sensitive, they can pick up they'll talk to them like I'm talking to you. But for me, it's mostly pictures and feels, pictures and feels, pictures and feels. And, I can tell you that everyone can do this. This is not something unique. But it's like anything. You have to study it. You have to practice it. It's a discipline. You're going to practice it for a long time. I started playing with medium. I don't use the word playing because that's not appropriate. I started working with mediumship after my mom died, but I really didn't get serious with it till after I went to Arthur Findlay, because I didn't quite understand it. Like, I had no idea what a physical medium was. I had no idea that there even was a physical versus mental versus trance versus healing. I did or medium artist. I didn't know about psychic. I didn't know about any of that. And then I went to Arthur Findlay, and all of a sudden everything just hit me, like they're all showing me, well, this is this. I got to sit in my first seance at Arthur Findlay, and I got to meet the world-renowned Scott Milligan, who I brought to many, many Touch and Eternities. He has now done his last seance the other day, and he did his last seance for quite some time because he's taking a break in the Netherlands. It was his last conference, and that was his last seance for a while because he wants to build his strength back up. And I don't blame him. Scott's a wonderful man. I have nothing bad to say about Scott. He's a phenomenal teacher. He's a great trance teacher. He's really a phenomenal physical medium. I've seen Scott at his best and everywhere in between. And back when he was sitting in circle all the time, and things would this crazy stuff would happen in the rooms when we were having seance, and even his seances, even to the end, were still really good. They were really good, but he could tell there was a difference, and that was his personal choice. And so I respect him for that, and so I gotta say I do respect him for that. But because I've seen him, like I said, I've seen him just things that you would see were just like you wouldn't believe them. Spirit hands forming in front of your face, and pieces of body parts flying around a room, and people, little kids touching you on the legs, and people singing, and things moving, and big things flying and falling and crashing, and it was wild. And of course, as time went on, and with seance, I mean, it's when the circle breaks or the circle can't get together because of COVID. That's when a lot of things happened. Scott was still really great at his seances, but they weren't the magnitude they were maybe 7 years ago, 5 years ago, because of that circle not being together and feeding him that energy that he needs to build up. And he wants to build that up again. And I get that. I mean, and then again, he may want to get out of it. This, it's a personal choice. But what I can tell you is that he was one of the best physical mediums I've ever seen. And I've seen a few. And I've seen a few that are really, really good, and I've seen some that were, But I got to tell you that he was the best. He was the best physical medium. I've seen phenomenal things with him, and learned a lot from him, and a lot about trance, and a lot about many different things. So if you ever get a chance to go to a seance, I say go. I don't know if they're going to be to that magnitude, that he was. Because most of the good ones that were good are now retired, and I don't know who's picked up and is really producing really good truthful phenomena. I'm going to say it that way. And I knew Scott was truthful because I would sit on side of his cabinet, and so I was privy to being right there next to him when he was chained up, and so I know that what you were sensing was real, and what was happening was real, and some of the things happened so fast it was no other way but spiritual. So anyway, that's a little bit about physical mediums. I don't want to go off on the ramp, and maybe because I missed my friend, but he's busy. He's working at Arthur Findlay, I think, still, and he's doing classes, and he's teaching trance, and he's always on We Don't Die with Chandra Champlain on Sundays. You'll catch him there a lot. Sometimes he'll do a Friday, sometimes he'll do a Sunday. So if you can catch him, catch him. That will help open you up. Now, back to mediumship. So understanding that your mediumship is going to be different than anybody else's, but you have to learn about your senses and your connection. You have to learn about how you perceive things. You have to learn to see energy. Now, I can help you with that. Being able to spot energy in a room, being able to sense it. And that's one of the things we're going to work with on the cruise, is teaching people how to sense energy by using their senses, and how to key into it, how to look into a room and feel where it's the heaviest. Feel or see, being able to see when you look at somebody, where does the energy pool on that person? If you're in a room, where do you see that heaviness in the room, that wave of energy? You'll see it fall. And I can teach you to look at those things or see those things. Okay, so on the cruise, I'll be teaching sensing, and I'm going to also be teaching mapping, and that is how to locate an item by using a pendulum or a dowsing rod, a form of dowsing, and being able to locate an object that you don't know where it's at. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do those things. And we use that technique. Actually, my good medium friend, Jennifer Braja, who, let me give her a plug right now, who has a TV show, Past But Present. Be sure to watch episode 5 because you'll get to see me. But anyway, so know that she's really good at this. She's very good. She just helped me with another case, and I haven't got any feedback to give her. I'm waiting on some feedback, but we'll go into trance and we will see and hear and feel things. Sometimes if we get an area, we'll take a map and we will use the mapping to locate where a missing person may be found. And so we will use what they call mapping. I'll be showing you some of that on the cruise as well. So, that's a little bit about mediumship. So I'm just getting you started. There are basically your senses, and so your senses are smell, taste, touch, hear, and see. The sixth sense is cognitive, it's knowing. So those are your clairs. Clairvoyance, seeing, clairaudience, hearing, clairolfactory, smelling, clairgustive is taste, clairsentience is feel, that gut feel, and claircognizance is just knowing, having that inner knowing, that right brain just talks to you. And you can have it objective or subjective, and you can have a mixture. So you could be mixing. Like I could be feeling something and seeing something at the same time. I can be hearing and knowing at the same time. So some of your clairs will work together. Know that too. A lot of people think they can only work with one. So that's a little bit about mediumship. I am going to be teaching a mediumship course. Now, people have been asking me, I've had a couple of emails because Holly's been telling them to come see me, where to get symbology cards. This is a deck that I use in my class. When I sold my store, I only took a small amount. I think I took 10. And they're here somewhere in my house. But I'm saving them for when I do my next mediumship class because I do need to order some more. If you live in the New Orleans area, Mystic Resource Center on Lake Avenue, where my old store was, they still have these because I had to leave most of my merchandise there because that's what they bought when they bought my store from me. So I had to leave most of it, but I did take 10 decks because I planned to teach a mediumship class and I needed these for my students because I sell them to my students for my cost. So I have to save my 10. I already have a list of people who want whatever I have left over after the class that I'll be teaching soon. So I have a list of names that if I have any decks left, I will sell to them the copy of these. But if you need one right now, I would say contact Mystic Resource Center. They can mail it to you. You can go, if you live in New Orleans area, you can pick it up. She has some. I'm ordering some more of these. And I'll be ordering some more of these probably in the spring because I got to order them like in bulk, like to get the cost down so I can give them to you at a decent price. So I got to order many of them. I am going to order some more in the spring, and I will be going to some stores and trying to sell them in some other stores around the country, as well as having some for my students as well. So symbology, so those of you who, most of you have seen these, it's just a card of symbols and colors and meanings, and I use these in class for you to associate things with different pictures. So when you're working with your mind, some people use these as tarot cards and talk like we've done in here before. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with them. What I like if you have kids is you put them on, each card gets called to put on your head, and you give one clue. One word clues until they can get what item is on their head, So you can do all kind of fun things if you have kids or families. A lot of games you can play with them, including you can do readings with them. So those are my symbology cards. Again, I won't have any till after my mediumship class because I have to have them because the students need them to work in class. And so I have to have some decks. And so that's why I can't let go of the 10 that I have. until after the. If I only have 5 students, I'll have 5. I'll have 5 decks to go. So, what does a yellow butterfly mean to me? For me, it usually means emotional freedom. I'm using a little bit of color, color and action to give you that. So that's what it would probably mean to you. I don't see color, so first of all, I wouldn't see a yellow butterfly in my head. I would see a butterfly flying, and I would sense a color. I might be able to see, but I won't never see it because I only see in black, whites, and grays in contrast. So I would never see a yellow butterfly, but what it would mean would probably be emotional freedom, or emotion, or knowledge, understanding something that's helping you move forward, setting you free because you understand it. It also could be a message from a loved one, and it could be 2 people that have passed that are with you. It just depends on the context of when you see it and what's going on at that moment. Remember I told you that sometimes I see the same thing, but it means something completely different each time that I see it. So I got to do the puzzle piece. Isn't that wonderful? On TikTok. Okay, there we go. So, mediumship is, this is, and guys, I can tell you this, but you're not going to get this until you really try it. Mediumship and psychic awareness is simple as breathing. And it took me 25 years to figure that out. It did. It's that easy. It is simple as breathing. We make it harder than what it is. Okay. Thank you, Tina. So, let me see. So what numbers mean? So when people ask about numbers, I think it's something about family. Danielle, I'm looking at Danielle put a comment on TikTok saying, "Well, help me figure out why I'm always seeing 1221." That can have multiple reasons. It's also double threes, so that could be something that needs healing. It also breaks down to the number 6, which is emotional, a family, or that motherly instinct, or fatherly instinct. That's all about that number. So could be any one of those things. I'd have to see you and sense you more to see which one of those I would apply to you. That if I was doing it personally for you, but that's usually what that would mean, 1221. And guys, these people write a lot of books. Oh, really? On the one that happened? Okay, that one. Okay, I had to think, Tina, because there was another murder on Friday that affected some friends of mine, and now this one happened Sunday. Wow, in New Orleans. No, I didn't hear. I don't watch TV, so I don't learn about stuff unless I hear about it at the hospital. So, wow. So I will send some love to that family as well. You know what I wanted to tell y'all? Speaking of love, we were talking about healing earlier. So if you go on Facebook and everybody asks for prayers and everybody puts those hands up, y'all know that's not prayer hands, that's high fives, right? I'm just letting y'all know that's not praying hands, that's high fives. But anyway, this is just me personally. If you ever ask for prayers, and some of you have asked, y'all might know this, all I write is done, because it's the implementation of saying, hey, I've done this for you. The minute you say done, it means that thought goes out there. Bam. I will seldom type that I pray for somebody. I will send blessings, because most people look at prayer as like when there's no recovery, or when everything is doom. So I always try to send positivity. Especially if I think somebody needs healing, I'll try to send some positivity, especially if I'm typing it. I will always try to send some type of positivity. Like, when somebody needs prayers, I'll put done on Facebook, or I'll type, I'm going to send love or blessings, or love and blessings to the family. I seldom put, I will send prayers, because sometimes prayers are usually done when there's no chance of, so like you're praying that their soul goes someplace. Well, I don't want their soul to go no place. So my prayer going to be done. I'm going to send blessings and love to keep them here for a while. That's how I look at it. That is my personal. So whatever you do, it really is your intent. But when I really deep think it, that's how I think about it. I think that sending a family some love during a traumatic time, or sending them some little blessings to help them through this hard time, is a much better energy to send than high fives or prayer hands. And I know a lot of people do, because they think, and I thought it was prayer hands too. That somebody says, no, that's high fives. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not high five. No. But again, people look at it as prayers. Again, it's the intent that you're doing it out of love. You're doing it out of what you understand as love. Which brings us to our last topic of the night, which is going to be relationships. Zeta, I didn't forget love if you're still on. Zeta's my soundboard, y'all. Zeta and I sometimes will spend quite a bit of time when we call each other. We stay on the phone for quite some time because we soundboard off of one another. And so we were talking about love and relationships the other day. And I know I am no relationship expert. Like everybody else who reads cards. But anyway, or does mediumship. We're all the relationship expert. But anyway, so, what I wanted to say, one thing we talked about is what we think part of the problem, people always ask, why does this country have such a high divorce rate? Is it greed? Is it people just not finding true happiness? What is it? And what we talked about was we noticed that a lot of people, and I get this in my clients, people no longer date somebody for their heart. They date them for an image. You can't love an image. An image changes. An image goes away after, especially when you get old. And your image changes too. So if you really want to find true love, and I'm not saying go pick somebody ugly or anything like that. I'm not saying, because I don't think anybody's ugly. I think every form of life is beautiful. So, but for those who might think I was meaning that, no, I'm not. What I'm saying to you, though, is find someone that matches your heart. That both of you can find love in one another, and that you love yourself enough to understand what it's like to make commitments and boundaries, and being able to be flexible with one another, understanding that you have your life and they have their life, and together y'all make the butterfly and you go off, or the dove and you fly off. So understanding, that person is not you. Some of us try to be with somebody that we look like bookends, because we look. I see this a lot, and if any of my gay friends out here, I'm not trying to talk bad about you, but I see this a lot in the gay community. When you see gay couples together, they look alike. Most of them look like bookends. Because they like it's almost like they like in most. And I'm not saying these relationships never work, because it really depends on what's in their heart. But if you're choosing it because of the image, it's not going to work, because the image can change. Again, because I'm not trying to make it sound, because I say that because that comment came up when we were out. Hey, Tessie, that comment came out one time when I was out with some friends and we were in a gay bar, and one of my friends says, look, everybody here looks like bookends. And when you look around, they did. Like, their bodies matched. Some of them had the same color hair. You hardly ever see any contrast. And so, are they really in love with one another, or is it an image that they're trying to see themselves? Because remember, and unfortunately, in the gay lifestyle, there are many people that grow up who can't come out to their families and stuff, so they lose that with themselves, and so they kind of do work. They try to build their images, what they focus on, rather than the heart, because their heart's been so destroyed. Because some of them go without love from their families and stuff, and a lot of people do. And so you have to understand, like I said, I'm not knocking anything. This is just something that was said to me that was noticed. And I said, I might get some flack from some of my gay friends, but my gay friends who made the comment, we were in a bar, and they said, look, we're in this bar, and everybody looked like bookends. They looked like the two people were dating, like they were dating themselves, versus any kind of, emotional or mixture of feelings and and you just didn't see, you didn't feel that bond when you got there. And so we were talking, Zita and I were talking about image and how a lot of people fall in love with an image versus what's in the heart or what's coming from the heart. Danielle, I do not do human design. I refer somebody. I have a close friend who's very excellent at human design, and he is on TikTok. But I don't see him doing human design on TikTok. He normally does tarot on TikTok, and he also does jewelry on TikTok. But he's really, really good. If I'm trying to think what his TikTok, I know what his real name is. I'm trying to think of what his TikTok name is. I'm not sure if it's Iron Eagle. No, I think I don't know his TikTok name. But anyway, if you're on my live, I'll try to get it next week and I'll bring it to you. But he's really good with human design and does that. I stick with tarot, mediumship, numerology. I do know some about astrology. I cannot do your chart, but I can pull your chart. I can give you some good information on it. Human design, I would go to him. He was probably the best to know in human design. And for astrology locally, if you want to read it here in New Orleans locally, I am going to recommend probably Janice Cullen. She has predicted so much stuff like to the T for me that, and my friends, like dates, like literal dates. This is going to happen, and it happened on that date. You know, I mean, like she's probably, I go through her once a year or once or twice a year, right around my birthday, especially because she does the yearly then. So I spend 3 or 4 hours with her, and she reads for you for 3 or 4 hours. Like you need to spend 3 hours at least, 3 hours minimum with her, and she's very reasonable. But she's an absolutely beautiful human being. So anyway, back to relationships. So, try to learn to fall in love with heart. Also, learn to love yourself. If you can't love who you are, how can you tell me you love somebody else? Right, that's where we're going right now, Dina. You're absolutely right, love. That's why people end up with the wrong person. You have to learn to love yourself and not an image. And again, it's not that you can't want to be with somebody who looks good. I'm not saying I'm not saying that song, go marry an ugly girl. I'm not saying that, no. What I'm saying to you is find someone that matches your heart energy, that accepts your love but gives you that love back. And that is the number one reason narcissistic men love empaths, women and men. Because we give so much love as an empath, and many times we don't take it back. And that's how they control us. So I've been there in my younger years. So I know. So yes. He's like, yes, absolutely. So again, love is a two-way street. You have to be able to be open to receive it in order to give it. You have to be able to give it and receive it. If you just as someone who gives and gives, you won't make it because you're never going to get anything back, and eventually that person will take total advantage of you or advantage of your love. Yes, Mark. Communication is a great key. But let me be honest about communication. You married young. Once you start learning about life and then you try to communicate, you learn to understand that people don't, you can tell somebody things and be open, and you might be kicking yourself right in the butt. But then again, that wasn't the right person for you anyway. I see that a lot. And that's why, and then you got to look at lifestyles. And I tell people, before you marry somebody, you really need to look at their family. You need to look at how that person learned love. Now, they don't always act just like their family, but understanding how their family behaved explains a little bit of who they are. Whether they went just like their family, or they went the opposite way, or somewhere in between. Find out who raised them, because here's something to think about. Every thought that goes through your mind, you have learned from somewhere else. Every action you do. Hey, Kenneth. Every action you do, you have learned from someone else, because that's what your left brain does. If you understand the left brain, What the left brain does, it takes everything you experience in the past through friends, family, community, church, social, being social, everything you've been exposed to is in your left brain. And when you're in a present moment, a decision has to be made. Everything comes together and tells you how to react. So every thought you have comes from somewhere. And when you have a thought that you might think is negative, or you have a thought, and please just think them, don't say them. I don't want to cause you to. If you have a thought that doesn't necessarily make you feel right or feel good, think about where you learned it from. And don't be mad about it, but try to understand why, and try to be different than the person. If it's a negative thought, try to be different than the person that you learned it from. Try to understand why they're that way. We had abuse, and we had abuse on one side of my family, actually kind of on both sides, but it was different. It was different types. But on one side, it was pretty bad. And what I learned from that is that the siblings all learned love in different manners. Some definitely tried not to abuse because they were abused. So they tried to break the chain, but yet they didn't know how to love, because that's how they understood love, was through the abuse. And then others just abused because that was their way of loving. And again, I'm not saying just because you experience it this way makes you that way, but understanding why that person might be just like someone that helped raise them or influenced them or cultured them in their life, what made them make this decision. Luckily for me, my parents were very open. My parents worked all the time, so pretty much me and my sister probably raised ourselves in our younger years, because my parents worked a whole lot. We did have some babysitters. The babysitters we did have, one of them was extremely racist and one was extremely non-racist, so I got to see both sides. I got to understand what racism was. I got to empathize with some people who are racist because of the way they were cultured. I understand why they're racist. I don't say it's right, by no means, but I understood their racism. I understood what happened to them. Doesn't make it right. I just understood, and they paid for it. Like, there was a lot of karma because of their racism that happened to them. Then on the other hand, that person's still alive today who raised me, just lay down, nice, loving, caring, doesn't have an enemy anywhere in the world. Just nothing but love. So I got to see the hate, and I got to see the love, and so that helped me a lot to see whenever I felt hatred or anger about something, I could go back and relate it to one of these people in the past. That's where that's coming from. So if it's a negative, I got to try to make it positive. If it's a positive, I got to try to make it better. And so that's why I tell people, start learning where your actions come from. Learn, and don't be upset that you have it, because you're having it because your journey in life is to learn as you grow. And as you grow, you will expand. And if you can stay on the positive and the love side, the world will be at your fingertips. Read the quote, my quote on my website. When your heart is open, the world is at your fingertips. That's by Sid Patrick. And it is true. Because if you can show love unconditionally, the opportunities you will have in this life will just flourish. I'm not saying you're not going to have a bad moment. Everybody has them. A lot of us have health issues. A lot of us have stuff that's going on. There's things that we can't control because of our what I really think about, when we were growing up, you always thought about, you see the commercials about poor Ethiopian children starving and that, and then you learn now they got pictures of America starving. They doing commercials like with us in other countries, but anyway, it's just weird. But when you're growing up, you remember hearing about the poor kids in Ethiopia, they're starving and all this, and you figure that these children didn't have the nutrients that it took to stay healthy. But on vice versa, we live in America where they poison our food, put all kinds of dyes and things that most of our food is not even welcomed in other countries, to poison and keep us sick and down and those things. So when you look at that, you just think, wow, just kind of let some of those thoughts run through your mind sometime and just think about it. Sometimes you can't help geographically where you're located. It can have a big part in your growth and development in this lifetime. So you have to find the better way. And then genetics, like with me, genetics is rough. You know, I'll always be a big guy. When I lose weight, I look sickly. So it's, I mean, people say, "You okay? You're not dying?" No, I just lost 80 pounds. No, you look like you're dying to me. Y'all drawn in. My sister would tell me, it's like, all right, I'll gain weight again for you. But anyway, so what I'm saying to you is, just try to sometimes think about where your thoughts come from. Think about where that thought, why am I thinking that? Why did I feel anger at this situation? Where did that come from? Because why am I living in anger? Why am I not living in happiness and peace? Because happiness is created by you. Nobody else can make you happy. $1 million can't make you happy. You might live easier, but you're going to be, everybody when the war is coming out to take it from you, you're going to be miserable. I mean, we all say money can make me happy, or a new dog can make me happy, or my grandbaby makes me happy, but your grandbaby's going to grow up one day and have, so there's always those things. So I tell you, think about if you're not a happy person, I want you to think about why you're not happy. Who made you that way? Why did you believe them? Why did you buy into it? So even on my worst day, and people will tell you, who work with me, who are in here, I try to always smile at work, even when it's really not good. I will try to keep a smile. I try to be pleasant. I try to tell people good morning, good evening, how you doing today. And again, it's not because I have to. It's because I feel that creating a positive environment around myself by being a loving person and caring about people who are around me, that some of that I hope will rub off on other people so that life can become easier. So that the drama stays away from me as much as possible. We're all going to go through some drama. I mean, it's part of life. But you should also learn to create your own happiness, because nobody's going to make you happy. Nobody. If you can't be happy, no one's going to make you that. So never get married to that. And back on this communication thing, it's more important than communication, Mark. Communication is the key, but one of the keys to the communication is being truthful communication. Just because you're talking to somebody, I know I've dated a bullshitter, okay? So I'm just saying, communication is wonderful, but communication has to be truthful and meaningful, and it has to come from the heart in order for it to be effective. And I did want to get that out there. So communication is one of the keys. Being open, being able to have that conversation, no matter how much it hurts, and then reaching an agreement between the two parties that both parties can live with. An example: I want a dog, husband wants a cat. We ain't never gonna resolve that, are we? Because you're either a cat lover or you're a dog lover. So then we get both, I guess. So you have to compromise. You have to be able to have that. And I just use cat and dog as something basic and simple. But you have to figure that out. You have to compromise with it. You might have to get both. And then I would try to actually take care of the cat and let him take care of the dog, so that we can bond with each other. So I'm going to automatically bond with the dog because I'm more of a dog person. He's more of a cat person. So it's about, that's what love is accepting and learning, and then trying to bond and definitely try to bond with what you're not used to. I was never raised with cats. I was always raised with dogs. So why would I be mad at the poor cat? I'd have to try, right? I'd have to try, and being a Leo, I should get along with cats. But anyway, so I'm just saying to you, again, it's about, those are the things that create love. It's not the fact that I allowed him to have a cat when I wanted a dog, or he allowed me to have a dog when he wanted a cat. It was about compromising and me trying to learn to love the cat like I love him, and him loving my dog again like he loves me. That's communication. That is good communication. Good night, Glenda. Good night. We're not far behind you because we're going to close at 9:30, so we're going to be done at about 9:30. So these are some of the talks that I told you last week I was going to talk. We covered a little bit of mediumship. We covered some of numerology. Next Wednesday when we meet, I will try to maybe see if I can get Maggie to put the screen up so that I can show you a chart and then be able to write on it and show you some really cool stuff. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, so I'm only gonna be able to do so many, but next week when we do a little bit of numerology, I may try to show you guys how to do your name, but you're gonna have to do your own name. It's a lot, but I will teach you and show you, and you will learn how to do your name and figure out some things about your name. So each week I am going to teach you a little more and a little more. Yes, comprehending is absolutely just as important as communication, because yeah, you got to understand what your partner wants, but your partner has to also learn to be able to communicate that to you so you can comprehend. Right, the wrong person will never comprehend. Well, you're right, it's the wrong person because they cannot comprehend, because you shouldn't be with somebody who doesn't understand you. And sometimes, like we talked in the beginning, we fall in love with that image. We want that image. We want that big fawn, and then that big fawn got all kind of stuff with it. You know what I mean? So, my mom loved cats. My dad did not. My dad loved dogs. So you understand that. Exactly. That's compromise. You have to use your legal name. Again, don't put it up on a board, because I'm gonna teach you how to do your own name. I'm gonna teach you how to do your own name. So next week, bring paper. Bring paper next week. Now, guys, I got to go over this and I won't go through everything, but I have to go over this. So I won't do the commercials. So on the cruise, here's the schedule, guys. The cruise is the 18th through the 26th next year. You would go to my website, sid-patrick.com, to learn more about the cruise. Want to hook up with Nicole to get your room. This is, like I said, we're going to be doing some crazy teaching. Trini's actually teaching the class for those. She's teaching those of you who are animal lovers, because see y'all talking about it. Trini is teaching on the cruise telepathy and intuition, which is communication with animals and children and small children and other things. So she's teaching that on the cruise. So if you're one of those animal lovers, you're going to love that class, because she's going to teach you how to communicate. So that's going to be a really good one, and that's going to probably be on day 2. Day 2 at sea, Trini Simmons, to be announced. That's no longer to be announced. That class from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is telepathic and intuitive learning. So it's going to be how to use your telepathy and how to use your intuition to talk to animals, to communicate with young children, to use your energy to telepathy to get what you want in a situation, because it also works on adults. Mystic Gaither will be teaching immersing ourselves in gifts with the 4 elements, and I've accepted my gifts. Now what? Where do I fit in? I'll be tension sensing and mapping during an investigation. And we're teaching those things because on day 3, you'll have the option to go on a tour. It's optional. It's the Mystical Chakton and Mayan Spiritual Cleanse. You'll be getting cleansed, but you can be going to cenote, and you will be able to sense that area and come back, and there's history there. And we're going to talk about that history. And on day 4, you're going to have a day in Honduras, and then you're going to come join the mediumship gallery with me, Trini, and Misty. On day 5 we're in Belize. That's the second tour. It's a second optional tour, which is the Mayan Culture Tour and Medicine Trail. We take you into a rainforest with the healer, Miss Aurora, and she'll be teaching you how to make your medicine from plants. And then there'll be a lot of different herbal remedies that she has that you'll be able to purchase at a very, very low cost. They're very reasonable. And bring those back home with you. Don't worry, they're all plants and herbs, but you won't get arrested for them, I promise. On day 6, we'll be in Costa Maya, and that is going to be Misty Gaither. We'll have a class from 2 to 4:30, because that's just kind of a cruise port. So you go off the boat, enjoy a little bit at the Costa Maya, and come back for 2 o'clock, and you're going to be in a class of true crime and the paranormal, and there'll be a crime scene investigation where we create a crime scene, and you will be investigating. And then that night from 8 to 9:30 on day 6, we'll be doing a seance sitting. for people who are in the class, and other people can join us. So you'll see the prices for that. On day 7, we're at C. There's the rest of the classes. I'll be teaching trance healing. Tranny and I will be teaching a workshop from 12:30 to 2:30 with helping you gather everything that you've learned. And from 3 to 5, Jill will be taking you on a rapid all. Oh, I miss you too, Queen. Jill will take you on a guided tour about finding your own spirit and your own story. And then that night we will have a farewell party. We will have a blast. We're going to all be hungover leaving the boat the next day. And when you land back in New Orleans, Jazz Fest is going to be going on too. It's be the first weekend of Jazz Fest. So you'll be getting back at a really good time if you're coming from out of town to join us, because then you can just stay and enjoy Jazz Fest through Monday and then go home on Tuesday. And have a really, really cool long vacation, 10-day vacation for those who come from out of town. Really, really great idea. And then let's look at, I think that was it, really. Oh, no, pricing. So let's close down this other stuff, and I will go over some prices for you so you will see. So, guys, the cruise price actually changes. It depends when you book your cruise, if there's any specials going on. Nicole gets you those specials. Sometimes they get you your deposit, and your down payment is sometimes given to you by them. So that's really, really cool. But for students, pricing, everything. So students will get all the classes, the mediumship gallery, the story time, all the discussions, the seance, and the crime scene investigation. The cost is $400. If you pay before February the 1st, it's only $350. Guys, that's for all those classes, 7 classes and all these events for the price of $350. That it is on top of your cruise, but it's 2 separate. You pay the cruise for your cruise, so you can bring family and friends with you on the cruise. But those who are taking classes will pay for those separately. And the classes are starting to grow now because we've extended the date for the $350. So try to get in there, and if you got to come on the cruise, come join us. Now the optional costs for students. So what is not covered is going to be the tours. The Cozumel tour is $159. The Belize tour is $109. If you book through Nicole, most of the deal she gives you has a $50 off on all those, so take $50 off those prices, and that would be your price. We'll have the Aura camera there. If you're a student, you can buy 1 photo at $40, and you could take pictures during the whole cruise whenever it's open for free at any time. So after you get a healing, go take a picture. After you do an event or a class, you can go take a picture and see if your energy has changed. But you have to use your cell phone, but you can go as many times as you want. We're going to have a t-shirt meet and greet. So an extra cost would be if you do the meet and greet with us, we're going to make comedy and risky t-shirts for each other. When we send you out an email, if you want to do that piece, you're going to check the box and put your t-shirt size. We're going to take your name, and we're going to ship mail everybody who put their name in a name with a size. And you're going to create a funny t-shirt for them to wear. And we're going to have fun with that on the first night at our meet and greet. And then you need to know that there are some taxes. We're going to have the meet and greet at 8 o'clock, but if we're not far enough from New Orleans, there may be taxes on your drinks, on certain drinks, on alcohol drinks. And then private sessions with any of the speakers, because some of us will be offering private sessions on the boat. I'll be offering mediumship, tarot, and numerology readings. There'll be different prices. You can book any of those. We'll be putting out schedules at the meet and greet. It'll be when first come, first serve basis, because all of us are not going to have a whole life. We want to enjoy the cruise too. If you are a non-student, so somebody's coming with you as a guest, this is the cost for them. So if they want to do anything with us, they can just come enjoy the cruise and enjoy the food and all the entertainment on the boat. But if they want to do the t-shirt meet and greet, the cost of the t-shirt and some taxes, they'll have to pay for it. If they want to come to the mediumship gallery, it's $40. Seance, $40. Story time is $20. Aura photos at any time is $40 printed, $20 for cell phones every time they take them. They don't get the continuous that the students get. Classes are $100 each for each 2-hour class segment. Private sessions with the readers will vary, and the farewell party is already included in your stuff. Yes, because we're going into Mexico, your passport will be required. You have to also, the boat will send you that information. You have plenty of time. It's not till April. Most people get their passports now in 30 days. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a great group of teachers this time. This is a brand new group for the Touching Eternity event. The other tutors I wanted a cruise and they weren't available during the cruise season. So this year I had to, the regular people that I normally have with me on the cruise, Scott and Dominic and Josephine, they are going to be in England doing stuff. And unfortunately, to do a cruise, you can't do it in June like we did last year because nobody cruises in the Gulf during hurricane season. They're now starting to cut those out. So that is why, I really wanted to do this cruise. And like immediately, we've sold enough rooms where it's already going to be a good time. But the more the merrier. So if more people want to sign up, we're doing a lot of marketing. We have commercials out. If you see our commercials, we have commercials on TikTok. We have commercials on YouTube. We have commercials on Facebook. Please like, share, and comment on them. Even if you're not going, please share them because somebody might want to come take some classes with us. You can come experience some of the fun things we're going to do. So, that was a lot. All right, folks. So anyway, just to wrap everything up, cruise is going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see you all there. Passports are required because we're going into Mexico, so you have to have one. That's just part of cruising, but please try to come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, guys, I've had a lot of fun. Next week, I'm going to try to have it where I can do your names. So please bring pencil and paper. Yeah. Is he that? I know it's Jason on Facebook, but on TikTok, he's somebody else. He's Buddha AQ. What was that? AQ, yes. But he does something with his metal smithing. I thought he had a name. So he's the guy that does human design too, but he doesn't do it on TikTok. I don't see him doing that on TikTok. I am going to ask Jason one Saturday to come be a guest reader at the Sid's Bungalow. I got to see when he's very busy these days, so I will see if I can get him here one Saturday. Saturday the 13th is going to be our first session, and once they start building up, I'll start having some different readers and stuff. You'll always probably see, Miss Lydia and Lisa they're staples from the center. They'll probably be here, but like I have Missy this time. Missy might not be available next time, so I might have Jason or another reader here as well. I will never read at these events because I host them. I don't believe in reading where I host because it takes away. I don't want to take away people from seeing these wonderful other readers because they want to spend time with me. You can book me anytime. I'm bringing these people together for you. So I'll have Miss Janice there for one of them. Probably two, but I'll discuss, see how she wants to be scheduled. I'll have my astrologer there because she's really good, but she's 3 hours. So I got to get her to cut it down. So if we get her to cut it down, I will see what we can do. We'll get her in here as well. So you'll get a good astrologer in here and get a good astrology reading from her. You can get her for like a 30-minute maybe or something like that. Anyway, so again, please like, share, and anything you see, especially with the cruise or especially my bungalow readings, let's get that out there locally so that it can be successful and we can, keep everybody comfortable. I'm only having 3 readers this time, and I think even that might be a bit much for the first time because it is the first time we're doing this, so let's get the word out. All right, folks. She is shorter with time lately. Yeah. Miss Janice is Miss Lydia too. I mean, they are up there, but they're just the most wonderful readers. These are old timers, man. They are good. Janice and Miss Lydia, they're old timers. They've been around forever and a day, and they're just absolutely wonderful readers. To miss a chance to get a session with one of them, you're missing out. They don't make readers like this anymore. So I do recommend coming to try to get in with any of them because Lisa's phenomenal too. But these 2 old timers, they've just been doing it for so long, and they're just so knowledgeable, and it's just a pleasure getting read by them. Anyway, folks, Touching Eternity Podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. You are my best, my favorite. Thank you for joining me tonight. I will see you next Wednesday where we will dive even deeper into numerology, mediumship, and love affairs. So I will see you guys later. Bye.